All right, let's dive into a really fascinating and kind of mind-bending idea. We're going to explore a speculative endgame for some of the world's most ambitious tech companies, all based on the work of a futurist analyst. Let's get right into it. So let's start with a big what if. Just imagine for a second. What if Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, X, and the Boring Company weren't separate ventures at all? What if they were all just puzzle pieces, designed from the start to click together into one massive single machine? It's a huge question, right? Well, the answer is even bigger. Because what you'd get wouldn't just be another tech giant. No way. It would be something completely different. A civilization's operating system. Think about that. A foundational layer for society itself. The source material for this idea gives it a name: Xenoverse systems. And we're not just talking about combining products here. We're talking about building the literal infrastructure for human existence. Okay, so an OS for civilization. How would that even work? Well, the concept breaks it all down into 5 distinct but totally interconnected layers. And each layer is powered by one of those companies. And you know what's really wild is how neatly all the pieces seem to fit. You've got Tesla, which would become the energy layer, managing all the power grids and transportation. Then SpaceX becomes the communications layer with its Starlink satellite network blanketing the globe. Neuralink, well, that's the crucial neural layer, the direct link between our minds and this entire network. X evolves into the social layer, handling governance, data, communication. And finally, the Boring Company creates the physical layer, digging the tunnels and building the robotics that connect everything in the real world. The end goal here is just staggering. I mean, it's not just about connecting machines anymore. It's about literally fusing our own nervous systems with the planet's communication grid. In a future like this, Earth itself starts to act like one single networked organism with information flowing as instantly as a thought. Now, obviously, this isn't something that happens overnight. You don't just flip a switch. So the source actually lays out a potential roadmap, a speculative timeline for how this whole planetary OS could actually evolve over the next few decades. So the journey kicks off between 2025 and 2030 in a phase called convergence, which is where the data protocols across all these companies start to merge and talk to each other. Then you get to the Neural Confederation by 2038, and that's when Xenoverse Systems is officially formed. Fast forward to 2045, and we're in the era of the cognitive infrastructure. The system is so essential at this point that governments actually depend on it for their core functions. And then finally, from 2046 on, we hit what's called the conscious civilization, a time where the line between human consciousness and artificial intelligence just dissolves, creating a brand new kind of planetary intelligence. But hold on, an operating system is just code, right? It's software. It needs hardware. It needs a way to actually build and interact with the physical world. So who's going to build and maintain this new civilization? Well, the answer isn't people. And this is where the idea of the Optimus civilization comes into play. We're talking about an army of humanoid robots evolving from what we know as the Tesla bot. They would become the physical workforce. And they're not just working in factories, they're building the factories. They're building the power grids, the cities. The whole thing becomes a system that can replicate and expand all by itself. And this whole automation process would roll out in phases. First, you get automated production. Robots building other robots. Simple enough. Then it scales up to self-replicating infrastructure, where these robots start building entire solar farms and battery plants on their own. Phase 3 is robot-led construction of whole cities, maybe even on Mars. And by Phase 4, the system starts to self-evolve, optimizing itself without any human input. The last stage? It's called the Great Automation Singularity, a totally integrated, self-building, self-improving civilization that spans multiple planets. So that's the real key here, this powerful synthesis. Civilization itself basically transforms into a replicating organism. A physical world built entirely by machines, all of it designed to serve the collective consciousness, the minds that are all connected through the Xenoverse OS. So, after all of these decades of integration, automation, and evolution, what's the final result? What's the ultimate legacy of creating a planetary operating system that's run by AI and built by robots? The ultimate destination on the speculative path is it's hard to even wrap your head around. Earth is no longer just a planet with intelligent life on it. It becomes a single, cohesive, self-aware meta-life form. A living entity where technology, biology, and consciousness have completely and totally merged into one. And if you look back from that hypothetical future, your whole perspective shifts.
You realize the goal was never just about building electric cars or rockets or brain chips. In this view, the real project the whole time was something so much bigger. It was building a nervous system for all of civilization.
Which, of course, leaves us with a massive question to think about. If a future like this ever did happen, would it just be the next logical step in our evolution as a species? Or is it the birth of something completely new? Something that goes way beyond humanity altogether? I guess that's a story that's still unwritten.